Hi everyone. So today I wanted to share with you my thoughts on camera about the new Hydro Boost Foundation from Neutrogena. I used this in one of my previous videos. I had already applied it when I started the tutorial portion of that video. So this video today is going to show you how I apply it using a beauty sponge. The last time I used this foundation, I mentioned that I used the Morphe M439, which I do like that, and I think that that is probably my more preferred method than using a beauty sponge. And the beauty sponge that I'm using are these little triangular ones that I picked up at Kmart. I totally forgot that I had these. It comes in a set of 2. The brand is Posh, and I will show you what they look like dry versus wet, so you can see how big they expand and how puffy and soft they get. But I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on the Hydrating Tint foundation, because this is a new release from Neutrogena. I picked mine up at Walmart, and I will give you all the details as far as price and all that, and a closer look at this applicator that comes with it, because it's not a pump, it's a different sort of applicator. It's got a doe foot little wand, or not little, a big doe foot wand, because it's pretty big. It's different. I've never used a foundation like that. I have it in the shade 40 Nude. You will see my skin with nothing on it except just my skincare products, and I did as best as I could to cover these up, but you will see some active scarring that has been there very recent from some bad breakouts that I had over the last few weeks. So be kind. I am working through that, and they're in the healing process now. They will take a very long time to fade completely, but nevertheless, I'd rather have the scars than active inflamed breakouts. So I will get into all of that. So let's just go ahead and get into the demo. All right, so we are going to apply this foundation with a different method than what I used the first time I used it. So this is not going to be like the first application. I've used this before. I guess I should start with telling you what my skin type is. I am acne prone. Obviously, you can see here I've had some recent breakouts. These are just the post marks of the breakouts that I've had after the new year. And then here on this side, I started getting a couple more as well. I'm not really sure exactly what has caused this onset of cystic acne in this form. So I have some issues to cover up. So I do have acne prone skin. I do tend to get a little bit oily in this area here where I have larger pores, and I think it's just because my skin might be a little bit more dehydrated than I'd like, and so I think that attributes to the extra oiliness that's there. This foundation, the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint, is supposed to moisturize and plump the skin for 24 hours, and it has hyaluronic acid in it, which is a very good ingredient to hydrate the skin. And keeping your skin hydrated is going to make it look more plump and more youthful. So it's a good ingredient to have in your skincare. And if you can get makeup products like foundations and concealers that have those ingredients, it's just an extra little boost that they provide the skin. It does say that it's oil-free, non-comedogenic, so it's good for those of us who are acne prone or currently have acne. And it's a water gel formula that applies flawlessly for a smooth, natural finish. So this is what it looks like. You may have seen this at your local drugstore. I got mine at Walmart for around the $15 price point. I think it was $14.97, so a little bit pricey. I think the drugstore honestly has gotten a little bit out of control with their the prices that they charge for these foundations and these powders and stuff. It's like, you know, if you spend a little bit more, you can go into some of the more affordable, higher end skincare and even makeup brands. So I think it's a little bit pricey for 1 ounce, but it is what it is. So I was looking at the range of colors in this line. They do have quite a few different shades. Some locations may have more and some may not have them in stock. So you just have to kind of check around locally for a particular color if you're interested in it. The shade range is a little bit different in this as far as the tones than the other Neutrogena foundations, because I try to match this nude with the Nude foundation in the Neutrogena skin clearing one that has salicylic acid, and there were 2 different tones. The nude in the powder and the cream compact was way different than this. So they don't really match up. So for example, if you use a Neutrogena product and you are nude in the pressed powder, it's not going to be the same tone in this Hydro Boost foundation. So you're going to have to sort of adjust your color. The applicator is different. I've never used a foundation that has this doe foot type of applicator. I think it's Clinique that has one that's very similar to this, that has a humongous applicator. This can be a little bit of a problem as far as hygiene wise, because You're rubbing this all over your face. If you're not prone to acne, it might not be a big deal. But for me, I don't want to do this because if I go over any sort of acne, I don't want to put any sort of germs and bacteria back into this bottle. So what I do is I just put it on the back of my hand. So this is what it looks like, the doe foot applicator. As you can see, it is quite thick. But I am going to be trying this humongous sponge. This I found in my collection. I totally forgot that I had purchased these. These are the Posh Beauty sponges that I got from Kmart for $3.99. Comes in a pack of 2. And I just dampened the purple one, but I wanted to show you the difference in these sponges. The pink one is the dry one, and the purple one, it has been slightly dampened with some water. As you can see, there's a significant difference in how thick they are and just the size of it. So I hope it's good. I've never actually used that style of sponge before. I usually just use like the beauty blender. It is quite thick in comparison to other liquid foundations. So I'm going to just take my sponge and just pick up a little bit. I'm going to start in my chin. And let's see how this works for my dry areas because I am very dry in my chin and it was peeling, and I think it's just because of my retin-A. So I'm just going to apply this as I would if I was using my beauty blender and just sort of try to get a nice even layer. And I'm only using the tiniest amount in my T-zone because that's my good zone where I don't have any issues. So yes, I have some stuff to cover and my skin isn't in the best condition. So please be kind with your comments. And I'm already done with what I applied. And I felt like I used quite a bit actually. So I'm not sure how this is going to work with using a sponge. I think maybe the sponge might be absorbing some of it. And this sponge also does feel quite different than the beauty blender. The beauty blender has just a different feel, even though this feels really soft. So I just went back with a little bit more. And I feel like this shade 40 Nude is a good match for my skin. And I do use a little bit of foundation normally as my base for shadows. And then I just set it with some translucent powder. I'm going to do the same with it today. And as you can see, it doesn't have a full coverage. You can probably see, the camera should be picking it up because I'm looking at my viewfinder here. You can still see quite a bit of my acne. So I will have to go over that with concealer. So I will have to go in and cover this up. I could try, you know what, we should just try another layer over these areas. So let's go back in with a little bit more of this foundation and just kind of push it over my little trouble spots. I'm going to use some concealer over these spots. I will need to do some concealing under the eyes and finish the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back to kind of let you guys know what my thoughts are as it sets on my skin. I will be setting it though, and I will show you with the Cinema Secrets Ultra Lucent Setting Powder. This is just a very thin, finely milled translucent powder. I'm going to do that, and then I will do maybe some check-ins in a little while. Okay guys, so I'm back with my first official check-in. It is 4:18 right now, and I went and did some errands, and I decided to relax around the house a little bit. And so it's been several hours. I applied this foundation this morning at just about 10:30, if not just a few minutes, give or take, but it was around the 10:30 time frame, and my skin is quite dewy. This is some highlight here, of course, because I did put a little extra on today, but in general, my skin overall looks dewy, and my forehead looks a little extra shiny. So yeah, dewiness, I have not touched up my skin at all. I did apply, as I said before, the Cinema Secrets Ultra Lucent Powder. I do think, however, that using a beauty blender or some sort of sponge that has been dampened with water is going to make this foundation a little bit more dewy. This is already going to be a little bit of a boost in hydration because of the hyaluronic acid in it, and the formula is a little bit thicker. So I do think that this is good for normal skin types. If you are dry, you may like this, and you may need a little extra moisture, in which that case, you can just add a couple drops of a beauty oil to this and make it a little bit more dewy and give you more of that glow if you're dry on the dry side. Or you can do that method wherever you have your dry patches. But if you are very oily, I don't really see this being a good recommendation for me to give to you, because I have some oiliness, and even though my skin has some dry patches, you can see how this foundation looks. So it is going to give a very dewy, radiant finish. This does feel very, very lightweight on the skin. There isn't a heavy feeling on the skin, and I like that. I do like that aspect of it. I don't really care for the applicator either, you guys, because that's not really hygienic. I'm not one to just kind of swipe that dough foot all over my face and then put it back into the foundation bottle. I think that's just going to spread germs, and I just don't know. I prefer foundations that are a little bit thinner and more liquidy than this consistency, and also the pump. I like pumps. This is a little bit different. So unfortunately, it's not really as good as I had hoped. I am going to touch up just a little bit because I'm going out on a fruit run. I ran out of my fruit for breakfast, so I need to go get that before the morning. And I'm going to probably do a little bit of this, probably with the brush, the M439. You know what, let's just do it on camera. When I do touch up, it does look kind of nice. As you can see, maybe I should have done that. Do you guys see how nice and smooth it looks after I do the touch up? Let's do half the face with a little bit of extra powder. Okay, so do you see touched up side? Not touched up side. Maybe there you can see more of that sort of glowiness that I was talking about. Not really my thing. I don't really have this problem too much with my Urban Decay, so yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. I know this video was kind of all over the place, but I wanted to give you guys my thoughts. Have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.